This beast used to be the prince of this castle, and he had a beautiful and virtuous wife, living a happy and fulfilling life. The prince's only hobby was hunting, and he always came back with a full load. However, his wife was always worried and returned to their room with a heavy heart. She pleaded with the prince not to kill those animals, especially the golden deer. In order to enjoy the present moment, the prince reluctantly agreed to his wife's request. One day, the golden deer appeared by the lake. The scene was like a beautiful painting. However, what it didn't know was that it had already been targeted by a group of hunters, led by the prince. Soon, the deer was chased out of the castle by them. The prince took out a special golden arrow and shot the running deer. He was proud of this. When he was about to shoot a second arrow at the deer, it instantly turned into his wife. The prince finally realized that he had committed an irreparable mistake, but it was too late. His dying wife told him that she was originally a fairy in the mountains. She came to the human world to understand human love. At this time, the sky became cloudy, and a strong wind blew. The fairy knew that her father, the forest god, had arrived. She desperately pleaded with her father not to harm the prince, but soon she disappeared. An angry voice echoed in the air, and the prince was instantly turned into a beast. The voice told the prince that only when someone truly loved him could the curse be lifted. But who would love an ugly beast? Since then, everything in the castle has been cursed, and there is silence all around. Until a lost merchant appeared and broke the silence. When he entered the castle, a table full of delicious food was already prepared for him. Although he was a little confused, hunger had overpowered reason. He began to eat heartily. After he was full, he led his horse and prepared to go home. When he passed by a bouquet of roses, he remembered his daughter's request to bring her a rose when he returned. As soon as he picked a rose, something strange happened. A giant stone head suddenly emerged from the flower bed, and the beast on its head pounced at him. The beast asked him why he warmly entertained the merchant and still dared to pick the rose that was important to him.
La plus jeune de mes filles. Ce que j'ai de plus précieux au monde.
The beast gave the merchant one day to say goodbye to his family and return to the castle, otherwise, his whole family would be killed.
Une vie pour une rose.
After saying that, the beast disappeared before his eyes. When he returned home, the merchant told his children about the encounter at the castle. It happened to be heard by his youngest daughter, Belle. Belle realized that it was because of her request for a rose that her father had fallen into danger. This made her feel guilty. The next day, Belle dressed herself up and took advantage of her family's inattention. She rode the cursed black horse and galloped towards the castle. When she arrived at a forest, Belle said the secret code agreed upon with the beast to the black horse. In an instant, the trees in front started to move rhythmically to the sides, creating a new path for her. Guided by the black horse, she began to move forward quickly. Along the way, branches scraped her updo, and thorns cut her delicate hands. Finally, she passed through a narrow cliff bottom, enduring all the bumps along the way, and successfully arrived in a completely new world. A huge stone statue appeared outside the castle. Not far away, a Gothic castle surrounded by green plants came into view. When she reached the entrance of the castle, the door automatically opened for her. Inside the castle, roses in red and white were blooming everywhere. The scene was extremely beautiful, but only the beast's traces were not seen. In the end, she came to a magnificent room. In the room, Belle saw the first set of clothes prepared for her. She walked to a mysterious pool and prepared to wash her injured hands. A golden light slowly surrounded her hands. The wounds on her hands began to heal in the sunlight. Belle was ready to die, and she listened to the bell and came to the hall. Through the shadow, she knew that the beast was behind her. She calmly said to the beast, "I'm here as you commanded."
Je suis venue échanger ma vie contre celle de mon père.
What puzzled her was that the beast just asked her to sit down and eat and told her that she could walk around the castle during the day. When the bell rang, she had to come here for dinner on time. Belle asked the beast in confusion, "Why are you doing this?"
Si je dois mourir, autant que ce soit maintenant.
Tu as plus de courage que ton père. Chaque soir à cette heure précise, tu devras être là.
In the reflection of the wine glass, Belle saw a beast. Who was the beast? Out of self-protection, Belle instinctively picked up a knife and aimed it at the back. At this time, Beast had already disappeared. The next day, when Belle woke up, she saw that Beast had already prepared the second set of clothes for her. The atmosphere was luxurious and the emerald green showed luxury. Belle put it on and walked out of the castle. She went to a tree and looked into the distance, looking forward to going home soon, and also curious about this mysterious castle. At this time, a deer caught her attention. It stopped and looked at Belle, then ran into the deep forest. Belle began to chase after it. The little deer deliberately slowed down and waited for Belle, as if it wanted to take Belle somewhere. Soon, the little deer disappeared, and Belle was brought to a rose tree. She curiously walked through the flowers and saw a princess statue with a gold arrow under the tree. At this moment, Belle seemed to understand everything. She thought that the beast had killed the people here, including the princess in front of her. Back in the castle, Belle seemed no longer afraid of the beast. She eagerly questioned Beast about everything that happened here. Beast chose to remain silent, which made Belle more convinced that the castle was taken by Beast. She told him that she would never be with a beast, which completely angered Beast. He angrily pounced on Belle.
Baisse les yeux! Baisse les yeux! Je sais ce que je suis. Résiste-moi tant que tu veux. Tu seras à moi.
Back in the room, Belle angrily took off the clothes prepared by La Beast and kicked them aside. When she was about to vent her dissatisfaction with a pillow, she found a little monster. When she turned over the pillow again, she saw a doll. Belle showed a long-lost smile. She understood in her heart that this was a doll made by the little monster to make her happy. With the golden light surrounding her, Belle quickly fell asleep in the middle of the night. Some fragments of princes and princesses appeared in her dream again. When it was time for dinner again, Belle proposed to make a deal with Beast. She offered to dance with him in exchange for a day of freedom to go home and see her family. She saw Beast not believing her. Belle jumped up and placed Beast's hand on her waist. They started dancing gracefully to the music. As the leaves fell, time seemed to reverse. In the center of the dance floor, they became the focus and the crowd applauded for them. Belle couldn't help but lean her head against Beast's body. When Beast asked her, "Do you love me?"
Voulez-vous m'aimer?
Belle pushed him away and said, "I could never love a beast like you."
Vous vous drapez dans les parures d'un prince. Vous croyez être un homme. Mais vous n'êtes qu'une bête cruelle et solitaire. Vous pourrez tout essayer. Me soudoyer, m'envoûter. Vous ne cesserez de me répugner!
This deeply hurt Beast, who angrily left. To vent his anger, Beast ruthlessly attacked a wild boar in the flower bushes. The princess statue in the flower bushes shed tears of sadness. Belle decided to uncover the secret of the beast. She secretly followed Beast up the stairs. On the rooftop, Beast revealed his beastly nature and started devouring the raw boar. Belle witnessed this scene and quickly fled. At that moment, she just wanted to leave and get away from the beast as soon as possible. When she ran onto the ice, Beast quickly pounced on Belle from behind. As Beast was about to kiss Belle, the ice suddenly cracked and Belle fell into an ice hole. When Belle woke up again, Beast promised her to let her go see her family and gave her a bottle of holy water that could heal her wounds. Before leaving, Beast said something to Belle.
Belle, si vous ne revenez pas,
Je sais, vous me tuerez tous.
non, j'en mourrai.
Belle quickly rode her horse back home, but there were problems at home. It turned out that her older brother had accumulated a lot of debt outside, and now the house was heavily guarded, fearing retaliation. Her father, on the other hand, fell ill and couldn't wake up after Belle left. Heartbroken, Belle unknowingly fell asleep next to her father. With the arrival of a golden light, she once again entered that dream. Time goes back to the moment when the beast shot the deer and the prince was transformed into the beast. Belle was awakened and finally realized that she had misunderstood Beast. The beast was actually the prince. Suddenly, she remembered the holy water given by Beast. She fed it to her father, miraculously waking him up. When Belle went downstairs to prepare to return to the castle, she found that her brother had already taken her black horse. When she returned, they found the gem on Belle's clothes, and now they were using it to pay off their debts. Upon seeing the gem, the other party began to threaten them with Belle's safety. Helplessly, her brother had to take them to the castle to plunder some ill-gotten wealth, while Belle could only ride a regular horse and slowly search for the way to the castle. Without the help of the black horse, the road ahead was filled with thorns and traps. However, this did not stop Belle's determination to return to the castle. She bravely made her way through the thorns, risking danger. In the end, she fell down with many wounds. She began to pray to the forest god.
Laissez-moi retourner auprès de lui. Dieu de la forêt.
Perhaps Belle's sincerity moved the forest god, and the thorns around her slowly dissipated, forming a path to the castle. Meanwhile, the invaders had already arrived at the castle and forcibly broke open the gates. They started to destroy everything and take away various treasures. Little did they know that disaster was about to befall them. The ground began to shake, and Beast awakened the long-dormant stone giants. They were crushed one after another. At this moment, Belle finally arrived. Seeing that her two brothers were about to be killed, Belle stepped forward to stop it in time. When the newcomer turned out to be Belle, Beast immediately ordered the stone giants to stop. In order to save his own life, the greedy creditor held Belle hostage. As a drop of blood fell on the ground, roses instantly grew. Belle took this opportunity to break free. When Beast was about to take action, Belle stopped him, because if he really killed, then he would be no different from the Beast. But the creditor did not repent, and he inserted a gold arrow into Beast's heart. Beast fell to the ground instantly. The summoned giant stone statue began to crack and fall. The sky started to flash with golden light. The vines around them began to grow rapidly, closely following them. Belle and her brothers carried Beast into the castle and put him in the holy water pool. Belle pulled out the gold arrow from Beast's body. Beast slowly woke up in pain. Facing Beast in front of her, Belle affectionately said to him, "I love you." Deeply in love, a tear fell from Belle's eye into the holy pool. The vines around them began to slowly disappear. Golden light began to surround Beast's body. He slowly transformed back into a human. The princess also felt the true emotions of the human world. While the villain was cursed into tree roots, the little monsters turned into cute little dogs. Many years later, the prince gave up the castle and retreated to the mountains with his beloved Belle. Belle seemed to be the incarnation of the forest princess, because she, like the fairy, can make roses grow instantly on the ground.